presenting Mission Zambia Stake Pool. So Mission Zambia Stake Pool is a stake pool on the Cardano blockchain. So maybe before I proceed too far, I just wanted to get a feel of the audience today. Maybe just for a show of hands, some of the things probably are not necessary at this point, but I'd like to know, maybe just a show of hands, how many people among us are within the IT or computer science space? All right, that's good. How many of us are outside the IT and the computer science space? That's wonderful. Glad to see you guys here as well. Very glad to see you guys. How many of you have heard about the Cardano blockchain? Great. Great. How many of you have heard about other blockchains? Anybody who's building on blockchain? One. That's excellent. So I think I can be a bit more technical. I see people a bit well versed. So Mission Zambia, we are a stake pool on the Cardano blockchain. We're based in Zambia. We're the first Cardano stake pool in Zambia and probably the only one as far as I know. We are a mission-driven stake pool, and we believe that blockchain technology should not only impact us digitally. We feel that blockchain, in order to get adoption and acceptance in the community, needs to provide real-world impact and needs to touch people at their point of need and to solve problems. And that's when it's going to be a natural process to adopt these technologies. Like I said, we are mission-driven, and probably our main mission as Mission Zambia Stake Pool is to create a social impact using our activity on the Cardano blockchain. So our stake pool supports orphans and vulnerable children within our communities in Lusaka. I'm from Livingston, so we also support a group of children there in Livingston. They are orphans and they're vulnerable children, and we use our activity on the blockchain to generate revenue, which we then direct to helping these kids. Another of our missions is promoting awareness of Cardano and the technologies that are possible, that are enabled by the Cardano blockchain. And it's one of the reasons why we're here today. The other main mission is that we want to decentralize or help decentralize the Cardano blockchain by setting up a presence here in Zambia, but also giving Zambia a presence on the Cardano blockchain. And when we talk about decentralized ledger technology, which includes the whole blockchain industry, the main thing that blockchains are supposed to provide to us is decentralization. And if we're not able to get decentralization out of the blockchain as our benefit, then you are better off running your app on Amazon web servers or Google Cloud, because they will run your apps faster and cheaper. But if you need decentralization and trustlessness, that's where blockchain comes in, and there's no substitute. You cannot get that anywhere else. And blockchain is really the only industry where you will be able to get this information. Speaking of our activity, we have donated about 13 bunk beds to orphans who were previously sleeping on the floor. We have repaired some structural damage and wear and tear to orphanages both here in Lusaka and in Livingston. Currently, we're supporting some vulnerable girls who require medical attention, and we're not fully implemented, but we're well on our way to implement this medical care. I cannot speak very freely because there are children who are being supported by other entities as well, so I don't have permission to give full details here. So we want every activity of the Mission Zambia Stake Pool on the Cardano blockchain to translate from a digital block on the chain into a real human story of saving dignity and saving hope. Why did we choose Cardano? I'm sure we know about open source technology. Cardano is open source, it's patent free, it's free for anyone to go and study, to look at the source code, see how the blockchain works. It's free to use, and you're able to utilize all the tools, and they're not patent encumbered, and that really gives the freedom as a developer to utilize these tools. Cardano is community owned, it is community governed. We have a governance system built in on the chain. People, actors like myself, like stake pool operators, we have positions called delegated representatives, and we vote to make changes on the blockchain. We vote to assign funds to different projects, to do different tasks that we want on the blockchain. And this is, again, also open to everybody. If you have an idea that you want to implement on the Cardano blockchain, you can submit your proposal, and then it goes under a review process and a vote. If you get voted, then you receive funds to carry out whatever proposal that you have. Cardano is transparent, sustainable. I'm sure earlier on we heard our earlier presenters talking about the energy requirements to run the Bitcoin blockchain. Cardano is proof of stake, and the entire network, the whole global network, don't quote me on this, but runs on the amount of power, required power is most.
75 kilowatts a year.
Yeah, 75 kilowatts a year. So it's a very efficient blockchain. It does not require a lot of energy to run. It's very efficient, it's very sustainable, and it's fair. It's fair in a number of ways. I'll go into that soon. It's built for individuals to use. You and I are very free, and there are tools on it that we can utilize. It has tools that businesses can utilize. It has tools that governments and countries as a whole, nation states, can utilize. Because like I said, we have a governing system within the blockchain, and so we have a lot of tools for governance that are already built within the blockchain. Cardano is robust and it's secure. It has been running for 8 years without any downtime. So this is a blockchain that has a 20-second gap in between blocks. So every 20 seconds for the past 8 years plus, Cardano has been minting blocks without fail for 8 years, and there have been 0 hacks. My brother Elijah here didn't believe me when I told him this today, and he actually searched. He searched, and there are no significant hacks on the Cardano system, and it's because of the way the smart contract platform is built. In Cardano, again, for my brother Elijah, I was surprised to know that there's no slashing, because in Cardano we believe in incentivizing positive behavior. And through positive behavior that contributes positively to the network, you get rewards. Whereas in other blockchains, you see, like Ethereum, they have the concept of owner slashing, or bad actors on the system, they lose their funds. And Cardano, this is not the case. So your funds on the blockchain is secure, and no one can take them away from you. Even when you delegate on Cardano, your funds remain in your wallet. You just point them to your stake pool that you want to delegate to. There's a very low barrier of entry, both when it comes to knowledge, because running a Cardano stake pool is something that requires you to know how to manage a Linux system, to do your proper hardening of your system, and to run a service on a Linux system. And that's about it, and to configure it. And you can run a Cardano blockchain. You can run it from any hardware. You don't need specialized ASICs like we're talking about for Bitcoin. Any normal hardware with adequate hardware requirements. The main requirement being RAM, which you need about 52 gigabytes of RAM on your machine. But if your machine has that 4 cores, you can run Cardano. So it does not require extraordinary hardware. It's very accessible. And even if you do not have the hardware yourself, you can find VPSs from Amazon or wherever that can easily run these machines. Cardano is one of the most truly decentralized blockchains. It's decentralization spans hardware. Like I said, you can run it on almost any capable hardware. You don't need specialized hardware. It's decentralized geographically. It's spread over 100 countries. In terms of the distribution of the ADA token on the Cardano network, was distributed much fairer compared to many of other blockchains. The tokenomics are online, and even including people. Like I said, Cardano involves positions like D-reps, which if you look in our normal society are pretty much politicians. They have voting power, and they get voting power from people who delegate their votes to them. And they make decisions on the blockchain using their voting power. So it's a very decentralized system, and it means that the decentralization means that we can join and we are free to participate at any level, as an individual, as a business, as a country. And so it is something that is valuable in itself, the decentralization. How Cardano works, very briefly. So Cardano, every holder of the ADA token has the ability to delegate the ADA to a stake pool on the network. So a delegation of your ADA means that you're just pointing to a stake pool that you trust to be a good actor on the blockchain, to make blocks, to validate transactions that are happening on the blockchain. And if you trust Mission Zambia, for example, you delegate your ADA to Mission Zambia, your money, your token stay in your wallet, you just point towards Mission Zambia. There's no locking of your funds on a smart contract. It remains in your wallet. You are able to spend it at any time you want. The number of amount of delegation the pool has determines how frequently they are able to build blocks. Like in the Bitcoin network, how much hash power you have, how much energy you're consuming determines how frequently you get to build a block. But in ADA, how many people choose you as a stake pool determines how frequently you get to build a block. And when you get to build a block, obviously you get some rewards out of it. The rewards are automatically distributed by the protocol to the stake pool and to the delegators. And so every 5 days you get some rewards dropping in your wallet. Every 5 days. And over the course of the year, it works up to about 2.something%. Cardano is a decentralized smart contract platform. So what it means basically is that it's like your computer in the cloud that you can access to without need for anybody's permission, and you're free to use it. And this computer in the cloud is a financial operating system. It gives you tools to deal and to create programs around money and how you can move money around. And that's what this financial operating system means. It's like Windows, yeah? And on top of Windows you have like Microsoft Office. So Cardano is like Windows, and the apps that you develop are things like Microsoft Office or Excel or your video editor, whatever it is. So the application that you have to build on the system. And that's where I feel we can get in, and there's a lot of opportunity for developers, both in the computer science space and even outside. Like our brother here, Carl, who's from the honey business, has found utility in the Cardano blockchain. Some quick things. I just wanted to highlight the variety of projects that exist on the Cardano ecosystem. They tackle a lot of things that allow us to interact with each other, the institutions of our society, and the way the mechanics of how we trade and we interact with each other. So things like finance and real-world assets and decentralized finance. We have projects like Empower that started in Mozambique, and they build sustainable low-cost housing, and they provide them to people on a rent-to-own basis. So somebody will build a house, they'll give it to someone to rent, but the rental goes to paying off the house. And they take that money and they build another house. Right? And then they do that, that's Empower. Palmyra, Kyle is going to tell us more about Palmyra. Igon, this is if you use Dropbox or Microsoft One storage, yeah? And that's Igon is basically the Dropbox. Liquid finance, this is a borrowing and lending platform. platform. You can lend out your tokens. You can borrow based using your other tokens as collateral. You earn interest and things like that. Indigo is a synthetic platform, synthetic token platform. Bitcoin DeFi, this is something that is very much being pushed. It's not fully working, but it will enable Bitcoin to move trustlessly. So without passing through an exchange, without locking it in a smart contract that requires other people to validate, it allows you to move the Bitcoin from the Bitcoin network onto the Cardano network, and then you can utilize it there. Then in creative and media, you have things like stuff.io. Stuff.io allows you to make your ebooks. If you're a writer, you want to publish, it has all the tools for you to publish your books on the blockchain. If you're a musician, you can use the project New, and that has the whole stack for you as a musician. You don't need your publishing or recording studio. It provides you all the facilities to put your music on the market. You will get your music on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Amazon as well. Yeah? So it's a very good tool, and it's already working on Cardano. Nucleus is a platform for movie producers to launch their movies and their documentaries on the Cardano platform, sell them as NFTs on the platform. Infinity Rising is a video game where the assets in the game, it's a metaverse game, so there are land plots and things like that. You can buy a house, and all of these are NFTs that you own, and they're within the game, and people play the game. JPEG Store, if you heard of NFTs, it's a marketplace for NFTs, and you can put your NFTs there and sell them and buy them, whatever you want. NMaker is a platform for creating the NFTs. Mission Zambia, we do have an NFT project on NMaker, and we are able to create even a sale with like promo codes and things like that on the NMaker platform, and we can sell things that we like to sell as NFTs. When we come to things like identity and connectivity and governance, here number one is Hyperledger Identity. This is Cardano's inbuilt digital ID platform. And this ID platform is ISO standard compliant, so meaning that there are international standards for digital IDs, and this is very, very compliant with it. It's free, and if, for example, the government of Zambia wanted the digital ID system, this is already up and ready. It's ready. There are countries that use it, there are companies that use it, and other organizations that use this digital ID platform. World Mobile is like your decentralized Airtel. You can buy a node of a World Mobile node, run it at your home, and provide network to the people around you and get paid for it. And so this is, and this activity again happens on the blockchain, accountability, who's using your node and things like that. It's launched again in Africa. This project launched in Zanzibar, in places where they had very poor connectivity, and they were able to take connectivity to these people in the island of Zanzibar. They have spread so far into the United States, into Pakistan, I don't know which other. Mozambique as well. Yeah. When there was a hurricane in the United States and like telecommunications were knocked down, World Mobile went there and provided connectivity to the people in those areas within like days, hours. Yeah. So that's World Mobile. Socius is a platform that also provides identity. It provides digital credentials. So things like universities can issue their documents, your degrees, your qualifications on the platform, and it remains in your wallet. It's tamper-proof. You can't lose it. No one can change it. If you can prove to any employer that's looking at your credential, at your certificate, that what you have is a legitimate document from the institute that has issued it. And this can be verified in seconds. And there's no need to go through Zappa process to get your documents verified. Project Catalyst is Cardano's inbuilt venture fund. So if you have a proposal, you can submit it to Project Catalyst and you can get funding. tools. This is our Cardano native governing tool. So when we have to vote, if you have internet, you can go to government tools, and these are the tools that we use to govern the Cardano blockchain. We use it for voting, for proposals that are brought forward, that changes that need to be made on the Cardano blockchain are submitted on government tools that we go and vote. Voting is done by mainly delegated representatives and stake pool operators like us. Other things, when we talk about infrastructure and computation, we have things like NuNet, which is basically your Amazon Web Services running on blockchain. ION, like I mentioned, is like Dropbox. MinSwap, these are exchanges, kind of like bureau de change. You can change from one token to another, in a decentralized manner. You don't have to deposit with any kind of exchange, you just swap on chain. Then, of course, there are the entities that run the blockchain, the stake pools like Mission Zambia. Then we have Midnight, which is a side chain of Cardano, which is going to bring privacy to the Cardano blockchain. Now, when we look at any kind of business, the business always has a public side and a private side. Even us as individuals, we have a public side and we have a private side. If I go to a shop, my public side is when I take out my 100 kwacha to spend, that's public. But what's private is what I have in my wallet, nobody should know. Right? So there's always a private side and a public side, and so far blockchains have always been public. We've always defaulted to being public. And whatever is in the wallet can be seen by anybody. When you make a transaction, it can be seen by anybody. And Midnight, through the use of a technology called zero-knowledge proofs, if you're in IT and computer science, look into zero-knowledge proofs. This is something that is going to revolutionize the way we do things. It's going to remove a lot of middlemen. And if you're able to utilize this technology, you're going to be ahead of the peers. So Midnight is coming to Cardano as well. So what we envision for Zambia is that we want Zambia to become a pillar of decentralized ledger technology in the region. We want more stake pools to open up and to run in Zambia. If you need help, I'm always here. We reach out to us, we can help you. We want to encourage students, innovators, and new people to come onto the Cardano blockchain. We want to promote fairness, we want to promote transparency, and Cardano is inclusive. We try to always include more and more people. And because we have this kind of governance mechanism, we always increase the number. We do not fracture the Cardano blockchain. It's very resilient to forks like Ethereum Classic or Bitcoin Cash. Cardano is very resilient because we have a very well-defined governing system. So we are able to resolve our differences within the system using voting. So I would encourage you to build on Cardano in any industry that you're on. And what I would tell you is that Cardano and blockchains in general, they create trust where there is no trust. And this is what you should be looking out for. How or where does my business need to create trust? And by creating trust, I can increase the value of what I'm trying to sell. And I'll give you an example of our brother here is going to come and talk to us. He sells honey, which is produced in Northwestern Province across the world. And he's able to prove to the purchaser in Europe or in the States that the honey that is in their hand comes from a bee farmer in Northwestern Province, without a doubt. And that itself creates trust. Also, he runs tests. You'll explain why I don't want to do this presentation. But he creates trust between the bee farmer and the purchaser in Europe. And the person is able to trust the product that he's holding in his hand. And that creates value, increases the value for all the participants in that network. So, in closing, I'd just like to call all of you, if you do own ADA, delegate to Mission Zambia. We're here, we are very open to collaborating, and I would very much like to introduce a lot of ideas and a lot of opportunities and tools that are there on the Cardano blockchain to you. If you're on X, please follow us on Mission Zambia. Well, I think the QR code leads to our X profile. Yeah. Again, to reiterate, if you do hold any